The ephemerie for slow burn. Let's relax into this space. Take a deep breath. Orient our focus into the body. Begin to group your awareness into your body space overall. And begin to focus on your subtle body, your subtle feeling states, the hum beneath the awareness. If you're dropping in fully, you're in undivided or undistracted energy, get comfortable, find a comfortable seated position or lay down if you can, and really let go into this. Eyes closed like velvet curtains, heavy. If you're listening to this on repeat or as background for subtle shifting, obviously eyes open, split focus, and do what you got to do. But if you're here to fully drop down into this, then feel yourself begin to melt into the space you're in. Melt your awareness into your body and begin attuning to that subtle space, that subtle interactive space where things feel like they become liquid, where thoughts, emotions, structures, beliefs start to become movable, warm, elastic, plasmic almost. They're changeable. Take a deep breath and feel yourself slowing down. Feel yourself subtly releasing and detaching from your external environment. Allow whatever noise that's happening around you, whatever interaction, whatever that's going on in the world around you, allow it to just be there. It doesn't actually have to come into your awareness. It can be something you're aware of, yet it's something that you don't have to connect to, you don't have to get stuck to. There's no clinginess to it. It's not sticky. It can just be background. Take a deep breath as you let it continue to slide further into the background of your experience, and your foreground begins to steady around your current feeling state, your current you. Allow all of your energy to arrive back to you, your focus back to you. And this soft sensation of being in your body, being in your field, being with yourself easily. You're at ease being with yourself. You're feeling safe, embodied, in joy. This is a wonderful place to be, and it's easy for you to be here. And you've picked slow burn because part of you is attracted to the idea of slow burn, and whether you feel like you're attracted to it because it's something you easily access and you want to enjoy more of it, or whether it's something that you want to access more frequently, you're in the perfect place. Either way, this is good for you. So we're going to feel into the idea of slow burn. We're going to contemplate slow burn. We're going to feel what it feels like to be in a slow burn and be in total trust. And we're going to invite the aspects that question, that resist, that contract, the aspects that feel impatient. We're going to allow those to show themselves We're going to allow those aspects. These aren't whole personality traits. They're not whole aspects of our being. They're contractions. We're not going to fully label them. We don't need to. We're not going to fully follow them. We don't need to. But we can allow them to show up and show ourselves that we can be at ease with them there, and that it doesn't actually change the larger current of your slow burn to witness these aspects. This is a place that we're going that's beyond intention and beyond exception. It's beyond action, and it's beyond acceptance. It's in the known harmony that already exists. You're already able to harmonize with time, with your environment, with what you want to create, with what's already happening in your life. Your entitlement to your harmony already exists, and it's already in operation within you. Sometimes we need to tune in subtly to that harmony to remember that it's always there. It's always been there. So just feel into that space that feels like harmony. Feel into that space that feels like ease, a naturalness. In this space, you have a natural experience of due timing and due process. You don't have to question it. Even if you've had experiences that have you question whether something should be taking this long, whether something should be taking this much effort, where you are in the process. This is very much allowing all of this to show itself, and also feeling the space where you already know it takes what it takes. And you're actually so okay with that. You're so well and held in that space. From this space of allowing due process, allowing due timing, there's a certain amount of inner chivalry that you already have, or that you're cultivating in the meantime. And this can feel like self-love, a generosity of patience turned inward. And this does develop over time, and yet there is a timeless aspect to it that's boundless, that's already accessible. It's accessible by your noticing, by your focusing, and just allowing your focus to let it continue coming into the room with you, to continue pulling in your energetic field. So take a deep breath and keep feeling into this space. Allow your entire body to relax. Slow burn is characterized by a deep acceptance, but again, beyond acceptance into harmony. And that whatever is coming up in this moment, because along the trajectory of a slow burn, you're going to have some experiences of ups and downs, twists and turns, things that you didn't necessarily expect, and things that you have a definition around that may be needing some change or may be needing some adjustment. So we want to give lots of space and lots of openness and relaxation around it, so that the definition can shift and turn naturally, so that a reorientation can happen with natural momentum. Because your field and who you are is naturally generative. It's not always about forcing something. The natural generativity of you wants to turn itself into a harmonious experience. So if you can give it the time, space, and focus, and relax a little bit around that, you can help it midwife itself into position, into flow, into ease. So again, take that deep breath and feel yourself relax. Feel into your body. Scan your body. Is there anywhere that you're still feeling tension, resistance, contraction? Is there anywhere that you feel your body still tightening? Perfect. Perfect. Feel that space and breathe into it. Feel it relax. Feel it begin to melt with your awareness. Your awareness is that chivalrous, loving awareness, that gentle hold and that melting motion. That's what you offer. So as you see this come up, as you scan for that tension and you locate it, your awareness naturally begins to ease the contraction. You're not getting it wrong. There's no way to get this wrong. The fact that you're here with yourself is the process, is the way. You can even contract it again, physically. Contract it. Find that place that felt tight and lean into the tightness. Induce the tightness for a second. Feel yourself. Sometimes our contraction comes from a place of feeling like we've pushed a button on and it's stuck on. And it's not only about turning it off, but restoring the fluidity and the functionality to the pump. You prime the pump, you get to squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release, to remind the muscles of their malleability. So we're going to find these places inside that feel tense, and we're going to release and relax them. And then we'll squeeze a little bit and then release and relax, so that you can feel an undulation, because the slow burn again isn't a stasis. It isn't a stopping. It isn't a total collapse. It can be seen more as an undulation. It's not a wildfire burn. It's a motion. It's a movement. It's devotion, really. Energetically and emotionally, you can feel a slow burn as devotion. And in this space, you begin to know yourself more. You begin to see all of your waves because you can allow for them. You can see where when you force something, it can feel like clenched teeth in a clenched jaw. When you force something, it can feel cold and steely and frustrating, metallic. It can feel like cold sweat. It can feel like bile. It can feel bitter. It can feel like rumination or fixation. When you force something, it can feel like agitation, like feeding this loop, feeding off of self. Get to know that feeling, because we all force ourselves to do things. But when we come into attunement with ourselves and we start to feel like what force feels like when it's a nice induction versus force where we're forcing the wrong direction. To me, this feels like migraine when I feel this intense, steely, metallic, clenched migraine, that pressure. That feels like pushing in the wrong direction, pushing against myself. So instead, we want to find the flow route. We want to find the route that feels like flow. We don't want to attend to ourselves and clench. We want to ease up on the obsession. We want to loosen into the feeling of compassion and heart opening. We release the stickiness and the grippiness, and then we feel into the flow. We feel into where it feels a little easier, where we feel ease is flowing naturally. And in contrast, this can feel like softness or fluidity. It can feel a little warmer, a little more alive. So if you're ever at that impasse of how you should apply your energy, whether you should move forward and you're wondering which motion should be taken, and you're tempted by force, you're tempted to push something through, feel a little further down that path intuitively and really feel into, does this feel like force in the way of that cold, sweaty, clenched, like bile, like hung over, like migraine? Or does it feel like it's flowing, like it's alive, like there's something there? And even if it feels intimidating, or even if it feels like you don't know the whole way there, or you don't have a clear vision of all the way to the end, does it still feel like there's some warm flow inviting you forward? Does it feel collaborative? Does it feel like something is on the other end of it that feels warm and right? And start to play with those two feelings. Start to play with what it feels like to allow motion in both of those ways. And again, your body's generative. Your sensory system is generative. It will lean towards what feels generative, and you will get signals of what is generative. So you can allow the slow burn to take its time, to take its pace, to take its natural due course, to allow the process its due timing. Because all the way you're nourishing, you're being fed by, you're being nourished by the way that feels more nourishing. And even when you feel moments of this doesn't feel nourishing, this actually feels forced, or I'm getting impatient, when those feelings come up, you can still be in your slow burn when they come up. You can witness them from that place. There's no rule saying you have to now classify this as you've stepped out of your slow burn. Because ultimately, you're the one experiencing this. Ultimately, you're the one stewarding this process. And you're aware. You're willing to look. You're not bypassing. You're just choosing the temperature of your water as you go. So take a deep breath. Remember, motion is the lotion. And in this slow burn, you are making movement forward. This is all progress. We can't have it be anything other than progress. That's what this whole life living is. Life living itself is progress. And so keep breathing and keep feeling into your body, and just allow yourself to be with that for a moment. Allow yourself to enjoy this slow burn and enjoy the feeling of a slow burn. Enjoy the luxury of being able to feel like you can let a natural unfolding happen. And it can feel so natural and like an unfoldment. God, how exquisite. How lucky are we to be in this human body and get to feel with our senses a sensory unfoldment and be in a relaxed and receptive state for it. This is your self-leadership. This is where you get to lead yourself and remember the feeling that you're not waiting per se, and that you know you're already happening. You are already happening. It is already happening. And it must be, because you're here. And this is what it's all for. And you know it without clenching, and you know it without timing, and you know it without forcing. And you can feel it without feeling like the bottom is going to fall out. You can enjoy the slow burn. You can choose to let this slow burn continue to unfurl in whatever way it does. And it comes to a point where you just know it's happening. There's no proof needed. You're not even that bothered about what is showing up because you know it's already happening. And this isn't an attempt at convincing yourself. It's more because you relaxed enough to feel the actuality of unfoldment, to realize in an integrated and embodied way the unfoldment and where it's taking you and what it's bringing to you and what it's magnetizing to you and what shore you're arriving at. And it doesn't even matter the tone of the shore or the contextual texture of the shore, because you trust the overall deliverance, revelation, arrival. I know these are big concepts, but related to your overall experience of living and being, you're in deep trust. You're allowing the slow burn. And it's easy when something's exquisite and delectable and delicious, when you're eating a meal that's so tasty and you can slow down and enjoy. When you're self-grooming or washing your body and you can allow yourself to slow down and enjoy. When you can tap into that feeling and remember that feeling and microdose that feeling, and when you tap into it, remembering and reminding yourself that that's actually the undertone of the whole thing, it begins to allow yourself to rest in that knowing. Instead of saying, how can I get more of this? And I'm waiting in between these hits of it. You choose to take these moments where you recognize this feeling, even listening to this audio, where you recognize this feeling as actually being a predominant feeling state, as opposed to one you have to keep inducing. You're coming back to remembering, and you're just threading them together. Not intentionally, like you need to or else, but intentionally as in, I'm intending to remember that this is actually how I can continue to enjoy life, that I can always return, that this is a recursive return to this feeling state. This feeling state is already here. And this is one that I pin. This is one that I pin, that I love to return to, that I know is my capability, and it's a state I want to have in a more predominant focal point in my energetic field. I want the slow burn to be always there for me, always something I can rest in, that I can tap into at a moment's notice if I need to. Not that you'll be flooded with the feeling in a moment's notice, but that you can start to tap into it and allow it to compound and become robust. And then you remember. And then you remember that you're never fully leaving it. You're just shifting focus so that that's the background. That's how we subtly shift the state of the underlying background being, I got to get something done. Why isn't this happening yet? I'm always striving. And if you notice that that's the background that seems to ultimately bubble up or show itself, it's there when you first wake up in the morning. It's there when you get stressed. It's there when a task comes your way. It's there when your plans get hijacked. It's there when something unexpected happens. If that's the underlying tone, know that just as righteously you can shift the tone, the underlying tone, to a slow burn. You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to shift it. You're allowed to notice that that's there. You're allowed to reach deeper and realize that the human experience isn't necessarily on external timing. It's not on the cultural timing of productivity. It's actually on the evolutionary and adaptation and unfoldment process timeline. It's actually on the integration and maturation timeline. And it can be on the deeply reverent, rich, delightful, enjoyable, sensual timeline. And just as the rushed timeline may have become your bass note, you can remember that this is actually also there already. And you can pin this one as your undertone, as your default setting. And you can allow this slow burn to feel exquisite. So take a deep breath. Continue feeling and knowing that this is already yours. You already have access to it. And you get to shift your focus on to it. You get to bring it in more. You get to connect with it more. It never really left. You don't have to strive for it. But if it feels like it's difficult to access, you might just need to sit down and focus with it. You might just need to be in relationship to it, to feel into it, to enjoy being in the presence of a slow burn and allow whatever is antithetical to that to come up, be seen, and be seen as immersed within the slow burn bandwidth. That's just debris. That's just density. That's just questioning. That's just temporal experience. That's just short-term sensation, because your bandwidth has a slow burn to it that doesn't go away. You want to stretch it out and look at it across your entire lifetime. Your entire lifetime is a slow burn, baby. So thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come back to this as many times as you want.